RMJ Movie Reviews back again with this is an on the fly movie review of Rough Night, starring Scarlett Johansson, Lisa Bonet's daughter, and two other comedy chicks, three other comedy chicks. Yeah, five girls. Yeah, okay. So anyway, Rough Night. I am a long tradition fan of I'm a long time fan of the tradition of the comedies that have debauchery and nudity, foul language, and all sorts of unsavory hijinks that ensue. Drug abuse, alcoholism. I love those kind of movies. Of course, I did Bachelor Party, Revenge of the Nerds. I love 40-Year-Old Virgin. The Hangover was okay. Strangely, I kind of enjoy Hangover 2 a little bit better than 1. I might be in the minority in that opinion. I never even saw part 3, but I love all these kind of movies. So when I saw the trailer for this, it was an all-female cast, so there was kind of a little bit of the Ghostbusters reboot thing kind of going on where I was kind of like, well, it's an all-female cast. I don't know if I want to check it out. But I was going to go see All Eyes on Me, and actually I seen Rough Night before I saw All Eyes on Me. And there were a lot of kids in All Eyes on Me, and I was just kind of like, I don't think this will be a good decision. Because I actually want to enjoy the film. So I decided to double back and see All Eyes on Me during a really, really early show. So I know it wouldn't be all them dumb kids in there. So either way, I went ahead and saw Rough Night instead, because I had to upload these reviews. And I was pleasantly surprised with this film. I went into it because the trailer, we all know now, they can cut together some really great trailers where basically all the great beats, comedy beats, are all given away in the trailer. They give away the whole movie. And I was kind of expecting that all the funny beats were going to be in the previews and there was going to be nothing left for this movie. That was pretty far from the truth. This movie was actually pretty hilarious. It was consistently funny across the board. There were a couple jokes that genuinely made me laugh. Now, was it gutbuster funny? No, it doesn't quite get to gutbuster funny, but it was still funny enough. I don't think I have to tell the story. Basically, it's the scenario of movies we've seen from the past. Of course, those of us 80s babies remember Weekend at Bernie's, them hauling around a dead body, or even very obscure Emilio Estevez's film Men at Work, starring him and his brother Carlos Estevez, Charlie Sheen. I love Men at Work. I've been trying to find a DVD, digressing. The DVD is like $30 online. It's insane. It's very hard to find, but I love that movie. Bachelor Party, The Hangover. It's kind of a combination of all those kind of past films. And the four girls, basically, they throw a bachelorette party for the beautiful Scarlett Johansson. And they end up killing who they think is the stripper by accident. And they got to figure out what to do with the body and try to figure out how to get the heck out of the situation. And it's just the jokes in this thing are just, I think most of the jokes are pretty good. You know what I mean? They really catch you off guard. It's not pretty much just like cursing jokes and sex jokes and all that. Although there is a lot of that. It stays wholly in the tradition of kind of 80s debauchery male films. It stays in that tradition. I kind of more compare it to, remember that one little scene in Bachelor Party where Tom Hanks' his fiance and his in-laws and her friends all go to the strip club? We'll expand that. It's their night. That would be Rough Night. And I really had a lot of fun with this movie, man. I really just think the jokes were really clever. They're very much along the lines of the 40-Year-Old Virgin. You kind of hit with just the in-your-face, gross-out gags. And then you hit with those really just kind of zippy jokes that really kind of like passive-aggressive kind of joking where you're like insulting somebody. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't do that. There's a lot of those kind of jokes, too. It's funny stuff. Now, there are jokes that kind of don't, there's some of them that are just kind of like couple of eye rollers in there, but that's what happens with comedy. Comedy is very hard, and you gotta just go for it, man. You just gotta go for it and throw everything in including the kitchen sink. Me, a person who's an actor, I kind of like to try to dabble in comedy because people think that I'm naturally kind of a little bit silly. So I kind of often will, digressing, I often try to do kind of my own little material in real life, and I actually test my stuff out. And there's some times where I see where like there's some things that are really funny with people, and then there are other times where I'll say things and it'll be no laugh. So I just kind of just go take a note in my head like, okay, that didn't work. But I'm always practicing on people like all the time. And I kind of find that in the beginning, when you're really practicing a lot, you find that a lot of your stuff just doesn't fly over. All that being said, I'm just trying to make the point that comedy is not easy to do. And as many jokes that hit in this film and that are funny, they hit more than they miss. There's also, I saw this mentioned on another couple of reviews, but there's like a side story of Scarlett Johansson's fiance trying to catch up with her, and his storyline is it's funny. It's funny because another reviewer had said, I think Stuckman had talked about it. And I was curious to see how this plot line would go. And, he's right. It's funny. It is just funny, man. And I'm only going to give away one joke. But there's a joke where he doesn't have any money. So he's at the gas station. And he literally just starts, like, scrubbing people's windows like a homeless person to get money from these people. And this trucker dude comes up to him and goes, hey, man, would you mind giving me a blank? A BJ. And just the expression on his face when the dude asks him is just. And then there's another guy who asked for one too, and then he's like, well, I think I'm gonna pass on that. And the guy looks at him and goes, please. And the fact that he said please, it just killed me. That delivery of the line, please, it was so creepy and pathetic. That just killed me, man. And another scene that I really love is where they're trying to figure out what to do with the body of this dead stripper, and they put him in a sex swing, and to see this dude he's got sunglasses on, and the nose of the sunglasses is a penis, and to see him just like in a sex swing, like dead, it just killed me. Nobody in the room laughed, but I thought it was hysterical. I was the only one that laughed at that. I just thought that was so funny. There's just some really good gags in these movies. Now, one thing I'm sorry to admit, guys, I dozed off a little bit during the finale. I had to get in a movie for my channel because I'm trying to shorten the gaps of when I put up reviews, and I got straight off a 12-hour shift and went straight and saw this movie. So I dozed off a little bit on the finale. Just kind of missed little pieces of it, but I got the gist of it. They defeat the bad guys or whatever. But I really like this movie. This is a high recommendation for this movie. This movie harkens back to old school 80s debauchery comedies that they don't make them like this anymore. And I think this is just like John Wick 2 was a throwback to 80s and 90s action films. This is a good throwback to those old school and this is not even going to the 90s. This is strictly a throwback to 80s just gross out teen raunchy comedy movies. I really, really highly enjoyed this. If there's only a slight negative, and I forgot to leave out, Demi Moore has a cameo in here. Her and another gentleman, they play like this really freaky, like openly sexual couple who are like into group sex and they're into these open relationships. I love all of Demi Moore's scenes, and especially with Zoe Kravitz, which I will say chillingly, she looks exactly like Lisa Bonet. There was a couple shots in the movie where she said lines and she smiled, and my God, I thought I was watching an episode of The Cosby Show. It was just insane how much she looks just like Lisa Bonet. Crazy. I see her dad in there a little bit, but she's a carbon copy of Lisa Bonet. And she's really good in the film, too. She's really turned into a good actress. I really like her in Mad Max Fury Road too. But her scene, I'm not gonna give it away, but her scene with Demi Moore and the husband is nuts. It's great. And the aftermath of it, it's that weird feeling of like, I had a mixed feelings. I kind of had a feeling of like, this is creepy and this is gross, but it's funny too. So oh man, it was good. Scarlett Johansson, I've always enjoyed her as an actress. Of course, she's beautiful. She's really good in the movie. I can't remember the one girl who was in Christmas Office Party or whatever the movie was called in 22 Jump Street. I can't remember her name, but she's good. She's good. I mean, she's doing her usual kind of style of comedy. I think she's good. Old girl from Ghostbusters who played the Egon role, she's good too. That other chick, I cannot remember her name, who's kind of like the hippie looking person who was Zoe Kravitz's like ex-girlfriend, a part of the story that I thought was unnecessary. But I really she was good too. She kind of did her same shtick. And it was nice to also see Ryan O'Reilly from Oz make a special appearance as one of the villains. And that was kind of the one part of the story I didn't like. Was I don't like the whole Pineapple Express style of comedies where they, or National Security, what was that movie Martin did with Steve Zahn? I think it was called National Security. I can't remember what that stupid movie was called. I hated it. But I don't like, and they did it in Pineapple Express where like they have to do like this goofy action stuff at the end of the movie. I just kind of feel like if you're gonna do action or a crime caper thing in a comedy, I guess, I think it should be squarely in the vein of like 48 Hours or Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, where like, or maybe more like I'd say Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, where really you do have your warm-hearted comedy hardcore gags, and then it switches to hardcore action. So I like it when it's that way, but when it's this style film that's really meant to kind of be slapsticky-ish with gross out gags, I don't like when they try to add in the action, because I just think the tone is not set in a real world, not like Beverly Hills Cop is a real world, but you guys know what I'm saying. The crimes in those movies are played serious, as opposed to here, the murder and death in these movies are kind of played more like goofy and very cartoony-ish, but I just don't like it. They did that in Pineapple Express, and like, I think it was, what's his name from Spider-Man? Why the heck? James Franco. I think he had a fight scene with Rosie Perez. I don't like when they do that. I wish they kind of start to stay away from that stuff, but hey, whatever. But aside from that little part and a little last minute twist, which I saw that twist coming a mile away, I highly enjoyed this movie. I thought it was funny. Highest recommendation for Rough Night. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and don't forget to ring the little ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, the little bell to be notified when I put up some new videos. Leave some comments down below about Rough Night, what you thought of it, whether you disagree, whether you don't. Hey, RMJ Movie Reviews, I will see you guys soon. I'm going to be back with my crime movie review of LA Confidential, starring Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce and Kevin Spacey. RMJ Movie Reviews, I'll see you soon.